Have you considered applying other types of systems to like easy review,
She does something. I don't know what type of
like
miracle she
QR
does.
codes,
That doesn't work.
name tags,
QR code doesn't work. The little
scanner?
scanner thing doesn't work. Not one person scanned the QR code. Not one. Not like we had it everywhere. We even had it in the bathroom. Not one
It's
person
worked
ever.
out for patient appreciation when we've had one of the students like take over that and like talk to the patients and then do the QR.
Sal,
He was an
and
intern at that time.
he was a no, he wasn't. He was just a student that stopped in.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That's
and he
right.
helped us out. And in one day, he got over 100 reviews. And we just did a patient appreciation. We just adjusted everybody for free, and gave out a bunch of free stuff.
There's even one with like a metal tag, like the credit card sweeper, like you put on the phone, and then it just pops up the Google review.
The biggest thing that works is me personally asking. If I ask, they will leave a review. If the CA tries to get a review, they will not leave a review. So
Not as often.
the doctor needs to ask for the review. And then you have to say, hey, would you mind doing us a favor? Like, we're in the process of growing this office, and it would really mean a lot to us if you could just leave us a review. That way we can impact more
But like
lives.
if they say like have a testimonial about they're feeling so much better. Oh, that sounds great for a review.
That would be better to actually record. If you get, at that point, if they say they're feeling great, oh, that's amazing. Would you mind sharing that with this
That
person?
sounds amazing.
And then we have somebody run and then record them. And then you have a video testimonial. So, and then pictures with patients right there. We're gonna have a testimonial wall and pictures and reviews and all that. We just broke it down when we did the build out, but that's where that's going. This, so for me, one thing that I've noticed is, and like maybe I'm just too hard on people or like, but I see a lot of chiropractors open their offices and they're not willing to work on Saturdays. Like if you earn the right to take Saturdays off, like you're new into business, there's no reason you shouldn't be working Saturdays. Like I've seen people open and they're not working Fridays. Like you are down to a 4-day week. I've been open for 2.5 years, and we collect what people think is a lot of money, and we still work on Saturday. So just to give you an idea, like you haven't earned your Saturdays off. Tim Young has a schedule for when, but you can create that on your own. Like it's whatever practice you want to create. But if you want to be successful and have financial abundance, there's a level of work that comes in. And if you're not willing to put that work in, it's okay. Just don't expect to make a lot of money. It's that simple. Like not everybody wants to make 100,000 a month. You know, that's not everybody's goal. Like not everybody wants to adjust 400 people a week. I enjoy doing it. Like it's just something I enjoy.
What kept you to make the decision between having your table behind the door versus having all of your tables like in a row, like in a Oasis style, or?
Oh,
Originally his style.
Oh, so what they say is that you make less money that way. And then you also, so the more privacy you give, the more money you make. So if you look at a spa would never give a massage out in the open. People pay for privacy. And then if the other thing was, what was it? That came from Tori, but he gives that example about the spa and that people pay for privacy. But there was another thing. Fuck. I can't remember.
I just think like that's a personal, because like we've gone to offices where it's like that and it's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, one
and
second.
for-
It was serving the 90%. So that so 90% of people do not want to be adjusted in public, like out in the open. What you're serving is the 10%. So as a chiropractor in the chiropractic profession, we're already limited to 10 to 13% of the population. So now if you're going to narrow that 10 to 13% to people who enjoy more of that style of adjusting and being open, now you're cutting it down to like a very small percent of people that you can serve. And my goal has always been not to focus and fight over what the scraps that chiropractors get, which is the 10%. I'm focused on the 90%. That's why I wear scrubs, like because the 90% perceives doctors to look a certain way. The 90% expects a certain level or a certain standard. That's why the office looks the way it does. Everything is calculated. So it's like, how can you gear without losing my identity, because obviously you still see my identity, how can I gear my communication? How can I gear my practice to serve the 90%? And then that's why we have, if you look at our numbers and you look at the joints numbers, they're able to target 30% of their patients are people who have never been to a chiropractor before. So we're reaching a larger percent than the rest of the chiropractic profession. But that's my reasoning behind it. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No. I was going to say exactly that. I feel like it's about your own vibe and your own personality and what you want to get out of your office and as a doctor. Like we've been places in Texas where like everybody takes their shoes off and it's such a cool vibe and it's like very hippie like. And like I want to be there as a patient like that. Like I would feel comfortable. And then I look at their schedule and I'm like, oh my, I would really want to work only 3 days and then vacation the other 3 days. But then I'm married to somebody who's very driven and like I see the goals in the future and like I'm like also following along because eventually, yes, I do want to also reach those goals, but I'm trying to find a balance for him to vacation too.
Did you see how she used the word driven and not motivated? Most people would have said motivated, but she knows that motivation is fleeting. Like that's a curse word. And like I don't need anybody to motivate me. I am not looking for motivation. I'm driven. Like it comes from within. Like there is a fire that burns within.
And along those same lines, where are your non-negotiables like regarding like the principles of the profession and then serving that 90% and then stretching out to people that have never perceived chiropractic? Like on your scope of care says you specialize in addressing vertebral subluxations and you're not responsible for medical conditions outside of the scope of chiropractic care.
So every note that I have, the only things I diagnose are subluxation. So the only people that have anything other than that is PI notes, and then Sal's the one that does my PI notes. I don't know how to do a PI note. So I only diagnose subluxations. But however, if you take somebody who is in extreme pain and can barely walk, and then you start talking to them about the principles of chiropractic, is that the appropriate time? So you have to meet people where they are, and then you guide them to where you want them to be. That's how I function. But you could take anybody. You could take, applies to all areas of life. Like you could take anybody at any stage of life and then take them to a different plane.
So you would say it gets more philosophical, it goes deeper in the